We regard this scheme as not being economic development, but economic suicide.
It's going to be a disaster for the town, I think.
We don't want to see any businesses suffer in our town. We just want people to survive.
It'll be a ghost town.
I think they should leave Queen Street as it is.
In a few months, Teignbridge and Devon County Council are set to destroy local businesses and force national retailers to leave Newton Abbot. They force through plans to pedestrianise Queen Street after cynically misrepresenting public opinion and misinforming traders by not disclosing strict delivery restrictions.
The councils that are supposed to represent us local people and traders have very badly let us down.
We were formed as a direct result, really, because of the enormous strength of feeling against the proposed changes in Queen Street.
An uprising of local support, traders, residents, customers are all venomously against it.
And we wanted to try and get the council to listen to us because they're not listening to the residents and they're not listening to the traders.
What engagement have you had from the council?
I had engagement when I put a poster up with a picture of the leader of the council, and all he did is come in and ask me to take it down. And then the second thing he said was, I never knew there was a record shop in Newton Abbot. Been here 20 years. But at the end of the day, it's going to affect this business. We're not going to be able to afford to pay the rent if this goes ahead.
And here's an example of pedestrianised Newton Abbot, not short of pedestrianised areas. We're in the market square at 12 o'clock on a Saturday in what should be the leading market town in South Devon. As you can see, it's empty. It has 33% vacancy rate. Here we are at Queen Street. It's the secondary trading street of Newton Abbot, positively flourishing.
I'm Mary White and I'm Director of Austin's, and I work alongside David Austin, Managing Director of Austin's. David and I are incredibly concerned about Queen Street.
We rely very much on the pop and shop convenience of people being able to access our street, pull up outside for a short period of time.
If they can't park outside of Jackson's, they're going to go elsewhere. If they can't park outside of Shoulden Bakery, they're going to go elsewhere. The banks will suffer. We'll lose the banks because people won't use the banks. You've got chemists, opticians.
Unfortunately, the first thing is we won't be able to get some of our deliveries to us because they're imposing a size restriction on the lorries.
Devon County Council has confirmed that no concessions have ever been given and Queen Street will only have access to 10-metre delivery vehicles. In one fell swoop, removing business viability for local and national retailers.
Here at Wetherspoons, you can see how much space they need for a lorry. You wouldn't see Martin Wrigley in here. Martin, I didn't realise Newton Abbot had a record shop Wrigley. You wouldn't see him in any of these places. And these are the places that are cheap because they have a business model that requires massive amounts of goods to be moved around cheaply. And they need to use Pantechnicons to make that model work. And that is the business model that keeps the poorer people in our communities able to go and have a drink on a Friday. Means that they can go and buy shampoo.
Customers with reduced mobility or who rely on the pop and shop are not going to be able to park near us.
I noticed on the plan they're increasing disabled parking by 5% in their words. But what they're actually doing is taking away the 3 spaces that I've got, which anybody can use, and calling them disabled. And they're taking away 26 spaces around the corner, which are mostly used by disabled.
There are people in need, there are people on very tight budgets, there are people who live in the real world and need to drive to places.
Who invented that word enhancement? It's just going to downgrade the town. People are going to go elsewhere. It hasn't worked in Torquay. Paignton was a disaster, they better U-turn it.
It'll be a disaster for the street, it'll be a disaster for the town.
This is all going to come crashing down on their heads.
If the scheme for Queen Street causes huge detrimental harm and Queen Street fails, it could have the knock-on effect to Newton Abbot that Austin's will fail.
We want to protect our small businesses and our national businesses to making our town thrive.
It works, just leave it alone.